My 19-year-old sister Jessica is getting married to her old high school teacher. She is just about to walk down the aisle with this guy who is 36 years old, and everyone around me acts like it is perfectly normal. Nobody seems bothered by it at all. She graduated a year ago, and almost right after the ceremony they dropped the news that they were dating. I was stunned and honestly furious, but the rest of the family smiled, clapped, and kept saying how happy they were for her. Meanwhile, I just sat there feeling sick about it. This teacher, his name is Brian, divorced his wife a couple of years back, and ever since then he started paying a lot of attention to my sister. He would talk to her all the time after class and acted like he cared about her studies more than anyone else did. At first I thought it was creepy and I told her that, but she shrugged and said he was only helping her out because she was the smartest student in the class, which was actually true. Not long after they started dating, just a few months in, they suddenly announced their engagement. I tried to sit down with our parents and talk about how strange the age gap was and how unfair this whole situation felt, but they refused to listen to a single word I said. I even spoke with Jessica about it and she just smiled and said she was in love and happy, as if that should be enough for everyone. We live in this tiny town where everyone knows each other's business, and instead of seeing things the way I do, all the neighbors and family friends are cheering them on. I feel useless, angry at myself, because as her big sister I should have protected her. I should have been stronger, but I failed her, and now all I can do is sit here hating everyone around me, wondering how they can't see that none of this is normal. Update number 1, the wedding already happened. I thought about not going, but I didn't want to break my sister's heart, so I showed up even though my chest was burning with anger the whole time. Every single guest lined up to congratulate them and I couldn't even bring myself to look Brian in the eyes. I was that mad at him. Tomorrow I am moving away. I had a few job interviews and finally landed one in the next city over, so I'm packing up and leaving. I can't stay here another day surrounded by people who think this marriage is some wonderful blessing. My parents keep telling me that marrying a nice guy with a steady paycheck is the best thing that could have happened to Jessica, and all the relatives nod along as if it's gospel truth. But I see it for what it is. He took advantage of her and nobody else cares. I wanted to scream at every single one of them, but instead I kept quiet. Later I told Jessica that I was leaving and she broke down crying. I hugged her, calmed her down, told her I wasn't mad at her. I made sure she understood that no matter what happens she can always call me, day or night, and I'll be there for her, no matter what. I bought Jessica a brand new phone and told her I'd be calling her on a regular basis. I wanted to make sure she could reach me anytime she needed without having to worry about anyone stopping her. I tried my best not to start fights with the family or anyone else, because deep down I want them to come to me if something ever goes wrong. Holding my tongue was one of the hardest things I've ever done. More than once I felt so close to snapping and picking a fight with people who were smiling at that man like he was some kind of hero. Jessica was always an honor student. She was smart, dedicated, and I was sure she'd end up in a good university, building a future for herself. Now instead she's tied up in this marriage and likely headed down the road of being a housewife. And that thought rips me apart. I didn't lash out at her because I keep hoping she'll wake up one day. And when she does, I want to be standing right there ready to support her. I want to see her live up to all that potential inside her, and God, I hope that day comes. I told her straight up not to even think about having kids until she's absolutely sure it's what she wants. She already has a birth control implant, and I begged her not to take it out for at least a couple of years. I told her if anyone ever tries to pressure her into removing it, she needs to let me know right away. I really pray she listens to me on that one. Right now I've been reading comments from people online, and the amount of folks defending this teacher is just insane. People like that are the real problem. He started grooming her when she was 16, how is that not obvious? If Jessica had made this choice completely on her own without any pressure from a man who was in a position of power over her, I wouldn't have an issue with it. It's not just about the age gap, it's about the fact that he was her teacher, someone who should have been protecting her, not pursuing her. And just to be clear, I don't think being a housewife is a bad thing at all. What kills me is that she never even got the chance to choose a bigger path for herself. The choice was ripped from her before she even knew what options she really had. That phone I bought her matters more than most people realize. Our parents never let her have her own. If she wanted to talk to anybody she had to use the house phone where everyone could hear. so getting her a phone of her own was my way of giving her some freedom. A line straight to me that nobody else controls. Now before I get into the next update, I just want to say this. I know some people are reading all this and thinking it's normal for a girl to marry her teacher, so tell me honestly, what do you think? Do you believe it's okay? Personally, I can understand why some folks might not see a big deal, and I'll admit from a distance it can look suspicious but not always black and white. Maybe for her this man really does feel like the one, maybe he's the love of her life, who knows. Still, as her brother I can't ignore the way it all started anyway. Let's move on to the next part of the story and I'll tell you what happened after that. Update number 2. I want to share where things stand with my sister now. A whole year has gone by since the wedding and honestly a lot has changed, and for once some of it has been for the better. From the very start I kept calling Jessica on that phone I bought her, checking in on her every week, and within just a few weeks of being married her husband Brian started pushing her into that picture-perfect traditional wife role. Because of that she slowly drifted away from her friends, but I made it my mission to stay in touch and visit her once a month. Brian hated that, I could see it in his eyes, but for the sake of appearances he swallowed it and put on a fake smile when I showed up. To keep myself from drowning in frustration, I signed up at a gym and started working out. It gave me an outlet, something to pour my energy into. I was lucky enough to have an amazing boss. Her name is Linda, and she became more than just my manager. She listened to me when I needed to vent, gave me advice, reminded me that I wasn't alone. She told me I could call her anytime if I needed help. She became like the older sister I always wished I had, and on top of that she paid me well for the work I did, which gave me even more stability. A few months after the wedding Brian had Jessica completely under his thumb. She barely left the house and her independence was slipping away more and more. He even tried to create distance between us. But because I kept up steady contact he never managed to break that bond. Then a couple of months ago he started dropping hints that he was ready for kids, but I kept reminding Jessica over and over that she shouldn't rush into having a baby in the first years of marriage. Last month he finally came right out and told her he wanted a child. Jessica told him she wanted to wait, and that's when the pressure really started. He pushed hard for her to take out the birth control implant. Just last week I went back home to confront him directly. Every time I go to their house I try to be polite and calm, because if I lose my cool he'll use it as an excuse to wedge himself between me and Jessica, but this time I couldn't hold back. I brought up the way he was pressuring her to get rid of the implant, and the talk exploded into a full-blown fight. He told me he had every right to have kids with his wife. I didn't back down, and when I stood my ground he snapped and tried to swing at me. He missed, and without even thinking I drove my fist straight into his face. He stumbled back, hit the floor, and started howling in pain. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good. I had wanted to do that since the very beginning, and the rush of finally landing that punch was something I'll never forget. But more importantly I think that was the turning point for Jessica. I think seeing him lose control and watching me stand up to him might have finally opened her eyes. After the fight Brian called the cops and told them I attacked him. Luckily I always record everything when I visit their house. I use my Apple Watch for that. It's the perfect little tool for capturing audio without anyone noticing. Right after the fight I called my boss Linda and told her what happened. She promised to send a lawyer over if I needed one. Sure enough, when the police showed up Jessica stood right by my side, and you could see the shock all over Brian's face. He never expected her to choose me over him. Since I'm a woman and I had the recording, the cops believed me and sided with us, not with him. A little while later Linda's lawyer arrived, and I told Brian flat out that we were taking Jessica with us. He tried to argue but the lawyer warned him that if he tried to stop us I'd press charges, so he backed down and let her go. It's been a week now since Jessica moved in with me, and my parents lost their minds when they found out she left her husband. They didn't even care that he tried to hit me. Probably because I've cut them off and don't talk to them anymore. I keep reminding Jessica that this is her life and her choice, and I think in just a few days we'll be starting the divorce process. Brian and our parents keep trying to call her, begging her to come back, but I've made sure she never talks to them unless I'm there with her. During all this time Linda has been incredible. She's given Jessica real advice about what to do next and has been a constant support for both of us. I honestly don't know how we would have managed without her. Looking back at the past year I spent every single day worried sick about how things would turn out, and now here we are, Jessica free from that house, finally awake, finally seeing things clearly, and with me standing beside her with real support around us. I feel like I'm walking on air, happier than I've been in years. So let me know what you think about this story in the comments, and now let's move forward to the next part.